I got to meet Araceli
Hi. Hi, everyone.
in
Hello.
Vegas. So I finally got to meet her. You meet people online, and when you meet them in person, you feel like you already know them. So I was very happy to see her. And with her being in the beauty industry, you should be able to look at a person and tell what they do. Look at her hair, her skin, her lipstick, the makeup. She looks like a school owner. She looks like a beauty professional. So tell us how you got started. But first, tell us a little bit about your childhood.
All right. Well, Tim, thank you. First of all, I want to thank you for inviting me. We set a date back when we saw each other in Vegas, and I had been following you for years, and I was very excited when I saw you in the hallways of the NACAS workshop. Um, a little bit about me. Well, my name is Araceli. My name is Araceli Ibarra. I have been a hairstylist. I'm an instructor. I hold a manicurist, a barbering, an esthetician, and a cosmetology license. Endorsements. My childhood. I was born in Mexico. I was brought to the USA at the age of 6. English being my second language. Um, and we a little bit of our struggle. I am the youngest of 7 children. I am the youngest of it's migrating from Mexico and looking for status in the United States. So a little bit of that is that it was a very hard, I want to say hard childhood, or I never even imagined to even have a career. So to me, obtaining a career after my mom passed away when I was 17 was almost like to be able to live with my aunt. She said, you need to obtain some kind of technical career or go to college or whatnot. And to me, that was a kind of like a new verbiage. I really didn't see myself. I was a waitress, and I thought I was doing good with what I was doing. But obviously, she was right. I struggled in school because English being my second language was very hard. And so I managed to be licensed, and I learned to love this industry. I learned to really see it a very profitable industry. However, as a single mom, thank you, Sanders. As a single mom and raising a child on my own, my first child, I went for my instructor's license. At that moment which was in 2012, is when I went to school as an instructor, and 2011, and I became an instructor, and I was having a hard time with my stylist. I had a salon at the time, and so at that time opened my someone opened my vision to say, well, why don't you open a school? And I didn't envision opening a school, and then especially that's when I realized I was pregnant with my second child. So as a single mom, it was already enough on my plate. However, because I come from a survival family and a survival mode of doing things, I perceived to having a school. And then I realized the difference that I just had a school, like a school with a few students. Um, and I had heard about an accredited school, and I went to Scottsdale to figure this thing out. And I went to my first workshop, I want to say maybe in 2016. I opened my school in 2014, and I went 2016, but it was very intimidating because I felt like it was the minority, and I felt that it was overwhelming with the whole, the rules, regulations, stipulations. Just it was just so much on my plate that I felt that honestly it was not doable. But I followed you, and I followed some of your videos, and you took it step by step on how it was possible. So I have really followed those guidelines. And Well, today, guys, and I can share, how I mean, it's not easy. It's not easy. Um, it can be overwhelming, especially when it's a one instructor doing it all, and maybe sometimes half-time receptionist, and but sticking to having a school and actually um focus and determined to become an accredited school is is something that, after following you, after going to the workshops, after mandatory becoming in candidate status, was almost, um that's my focus. That is my focus, and I'm at the end. I'm i'm pretty much months to having that last visit, so I can answer any of your questions.
How was the workshop? Can you tell them a little bit about the NACA's workshop? Because we got some school owners on here.
Oh, okay, great. Yeah, sure. um which work, I mean, my like the work, like the first workshop, or like, because my point of view now of a workshop is different than
But
the beginning, than the first,
tell, tell them about the first one and then now.
Okay, sure. So the first one, guys, the first one I share with you guys is for me, is in Scottsdale, and I don't have a mentor. I don't even know what I'm getting myself into. I'm just sitting there, and I'm paying my ticket to be there. I'm spending the day listening to almost like, a whole different, like a Bible of like a new religion to me, right? And so I was I at that time, I think I it was too overwhelming. I was very I came home disappointed because I saw it impossible, and I left it at that. I didn't pursue. Um, it was until I went to the NACAS in New Orleans, and I was determined. At that time, I had followed some of your videos. At that time, I was testing you, Chin, because I was like, is it real that he's saying this? Yes. Every step of the way, every guideline that you're giving out is just how you're giving it all. You're giving us all the tools to get there. Um, I will say that something changes when you're determined, when you are focused, and you want that accreditation so bad. That's me right now. I wanted that accreditation so bad, and I want it, and I would do anything that I was told to. So I put my accreditation homework as a priority. I made time for that. I hire I hired a person to help me part-time for these documents to be in place. And now our school runs on a whole NACAS system. We run their marathon. I mean, all our documents, all our way to do things in school are now different. And so at that time, being so intimidated, by now going to these workshops, I clearly understand every class I attend. I clearly understand the documents they're referring to. And those are the documents you talked about in your videos. These are the documents that are needed, the ISS. I mean, we can go further into that, but now when I go in, is I check in, I sign in, I show up, and it's like a continued education for me. I'm not accredited yet. I'm just months away from this visit, and I'm waiting for that.
So when you would watch those YouTube videos, what were you thinking? Tell me about that. How did you even find me?
Ah, I think I looked at accredited schools or something like that, and you kind of came up, and you made it seem, you made it seem like it was doable when you said your story, when you shared with us your story. I related to you. I'm like, I'm minority. I feel that I have a chance to do this. I'm tired to be from being a hairstylist. I want to do more. I love the industry, and there's so much more to that, and I deserve to get paid well for what I know.
Did you think it was a scam?
Yes.
Why? Why?
I did because you make it seem like it's fun, or like your videos are like yeah, I don't know, but I mean it seemed, but it seemed at first, just that first video. However, when I did contact you back in 2020, I believe, and I actually was able to speak to you, um, and when you talked about all the vendors, when you talked about the process, when you talked about the documents, when you talked about the ISS, when you talked about the first visit, when you talked about all these things, you were right. It was all lined up just how you were saying it, just exactly how you were saying it. And so, I still follow you. I mean, I'm still, I mean, I respect you. Like I told you in Vegas when I saw you, and I was so excited to see you in person and give you a big hug and just tell you thank you, because you motivated me to actually go for the accreditation.
So now you're going up for your final visit, correct?
Correct. Mm-hmm.
Okay. So I had to send you that video for the final visit because I made like an hour video step by step with the cheat sheet, the checklist, every document. So it's really gonna help you. So I'm gonna send
Thank
it
you.
to you. Make sure you text or email me. Now, what would you tell a barber, stylist, nail tech? Some of them have that dream like you had of becoming a school owner, but a lot of them have fear, from or doubt or low self-esteem, because we've all had previous programming or previous experiences, I mean, we all have a story. So what would you tell them? Because you came from Mexico.
Mm-hmm.
And I know some people from there because I was a cocaine dealer. I used to deal kilos of cocaine and stuff like that. But and a lot of them grew up a little different. They really went through some things.
Correct.
So can you kind of tell them what drove you, gave you that drive, and what should they be doing? Because they still behind the chair and they don't want to be there, but yet some of them are scared to jump.
No, guys, you have to be hungry for that change. You have to want it and make it a priority. You have to make that priority. These documents, these it's not difficult, really. I had and I'll share with you my first visit, but you have to want it bad enough to really, those long days of cutting or being behind the chair, or manicurists or barbers, and you're tired client after client, and it's not going to get any better. That's when we need to work smarter, and you need to and go for your instructors, and then go and open your school. It's dedication more than motivation, because if I'm going to use my motivation, it's only when I feel like doing it, or if I stay positive. This was Araceli, you need to make it happen. We cannot wait any longer. We cannot, you need to make this happen. And so I had to have strategies to actually, I still do hair sometimes. Um, I'm the one that does a lot of the things at school, 10, 12, 14 hours, Sundays, looking at paperwork, but I'm determined, and I'm hungry, and I want this. I'm hungry, and I deserve it. After 30 years of being in the industry, I deserve to be accredited. And so when that is when you get that, and you're hungry for this accreditation and this change, absolutely. Just, you follow the Millionaire Barbers, guidelines, and I can assure you, I can guarantee you, you will get there.
Okay. Can you tell us about your family?
Well, you mentioned a little bit. So my family, my father was a drug dealer, right? So I'm the youngest of seven. And so a very chaotic upbringing, right? A very dysfunctional family. I lost a brother. He overdosed. And so being in that survival, I want to say the youngest of all seven, and not having an opportunity to go to college, and not having an opportunity to actually my father was just with his ignorance, was blessed to be in this country and have the right of he would call you have the right to step in the USA. And so with that being said, was we were, we were in our heads where you can only work. You should be blessed that you have a job in the United States. And that's what was, was graved into my head was like, I mean, you just have a job, but you don't go to school. You're Mexican. There's like that's all you can really do. However, guys, I just, if I could share with you the journey of a dedication, you just need to be hungry for this change. You need to be hungry enough to actually be willing to go through the process is what I can say.
So when did you get in your mind that you could do anything you put your mind to and start dreaming big?
Well, are there any school owners here? Is there any private school owners? If there is, first it was, I had a salon, and then I thought, whoa, well, now I have a school. Well, having a school with private pay, oh, thank you, Sharonda, that comes with its own headaches, right? People not paying you on time, not having enrollment, depending on people's, depending on whether people show up and meeting, state guidelines are not as difficult when you start to, compare. So there's that short route. You can stay and just be a private school, or and just being compliant with the state. That is not as hard. Anybody can open a school. Anybody can go out there and open a school. But to sustain your doors open to a school and a private school is a very difficult journey. And so I am tired of being a private school owner. I am tired of depending on this private pay, of begging people to stay, of getting people, to actually go and take their exam. I mean, it's work, but I'm ready to turn the page. And I've been a school owner for 10 years. And so the doors have stayed open. However, as of 2020, when I started to see your videos and like I'm saying, like when I started the process and it matched, Chin, it matches. I mean, everything you're saying is with that process and the steps as from start to finish. That is exactly the way it is. And so I was willing to go through that process when I don't want to be a private school owner anymore. I don't want to. And that's determined.
Okay. I know your son is at practice. We're not going to hold you long. What would you like to leave them with? Because I'm going to put this on YouTube.
Oh, thank you. Thank you, Regina. I would like to I think that Jen and I want it for you, but we can't want it more than you. I want it for every one of you guys. I want you, each one of you guys, to have your school, have an accredited school. And but I can't want it more than you. And I think that's when Chin, when you reached out and you tell us these things, it's like, I can relate to you where like, we know the process, but and it's there for everybody who's ready to take it, right? And so just don't give up and just be hungry enough that you be determined and be willing to go through that process that any of us can go through. So this Mexican girl that crossed the border illegally at 6 years old, and has conquered to maybe be and just be here and be proud. I think any of you can do it.
I want to thank you, Araceli, for coming on here and sharing this with them. And it was a pleasure and honor meeting you in person.
Thank you, Chin. Pleasure. It was my pleasure to meet you and your staff or your group of people that were with you. I turned around. I could not believe it was you, and so giving you a hug in person. I want to thank you. And I want to just encourage everybody to, if I'm here at this last, maybe, I don't know if it's the last of the thread, right, of the journey, but, do not be discouraged. Please, start your process, make it a priority to actually make the change.
Okay. Well, I want to thank you for coming on. Don't forget to text me or call me or email me so I can give you that video and those documents. And anything else you need, reach out. Okay.
Thank you. Thank you everybody for having me. Thank you everybody. If there's any, and maybe I can leave my number in the chat. If any of you want to reach out or whatever, like I'm saying, I just did the process with Chin. I just, followed his videos. I follow the list, the vendors, everything he has to offer us is absolutely very valuable. So please don't underestimate the value that all the help that he has for us out there.
Thank you very much, Araceli.
Thank you. Bye.